Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I know y'all have just had so much to do.
Wish
What
we
a
could
weird
hear about
year.
it from
What
each
a-
of the campuses,
Yes.
how it's going.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, and we have another president, right?
October is also Human Resources, Education Resources Day, Texas Education Resources Day on October 14th. And we did recognize the Human Resources Department earlier this month. And there is also a proclamation from the governor for Texas Education Human Resources Day.
Okay.
And I think Ms. Welk is going to read
Yes,
that.
I'm honored to read this. According to Governor Greg Abbott, in Texas, we understand that our youth are the very future of our state and nation. In order for them to fulfill their vast potential, we must ensure that every young Texan receives a challenging, well-rounded education. Across Texas, human resource professionals help students receive the highest quality of education possible by facilitating a quality learning experience and safe environment for students, teachers, and staff. Human resource professionals working in our schools foster healthy and successful educational environments by hiring the skilled teachers and school staff who will encourage and challenge students to make their dreams a reality. By hiring high quality staff, providing much needed services to students, teachers, and administrators, and ensuring the best interests of students and faculty are met, those working in human resources in our schools ensure our students will thrive as they become the future leaders of our state and nation. At this time, I encourage all Texans to recognize the many contributions of education, human resources professionals as they continue to develop effective strategies for success in education, implement best practices for hiring and retaining quality teachers and staff, and take on new challenges in the best interest of students. Therefore, I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, do hereby proclaim October 14, 2020 to be Education Human Resources Day in Texas and urge the appropriate recognition thereof.
Good. I think a round of applause. I don't know if they're watching, but we certainly appreciate everything that they do as well.
Yes, Ms. Freeman, our director of HR, could not be with us this evening, but she might be watching. So we just want to thank them for everything they do.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I just want to add that I think Cassie Freeman taking our directorship of HR along with the rest of the department is going to do the district well for many years to come. She's very well received. She's very competent, and I'm really excited that she was interested in the position.
We are too. Thank you, sir, very much for saying that. Okay. Public comments. It's my understanding that we have none this evening.
No public comments,
No
Madam
public
President.
comments, yes. Audience access, audience members, which we don't have any on site. Yeah, we have no audience, so I'm just going to skip right on over to the reports. Reports listed on the agenda and considered routine in nature will not be discussed unless requested by a board member. The board has had the information with sufficient time prior to the board meeting to ask the superintendent and staff questions. This includes A, summary of finance reports. Sorry, I'm trying to get air.
Yeah.
B, update on capital construction projects, and C, update on bond projects. Is there any board member who would like one of these removed and placed on the reports with presentations? Okay, seeing none, then we will move on to item 9A, report on COVID-19 identification and tracking. Mr. Kelly.
Yes, ma'am. Before we get started, I see Jay is tuned in, and I'm not sure he got the word that instead of him doing a presentation, because we're right down to the end of this, we've moved that to report only. So, well, he's already checked out. So,
Oh, no, there he is.
oh, there he is. Okay. So, anyway, Jay, you're not on stage tonight, so take the night off. Okay. All right, here we go. Today is the end of the second 6 weeks. 1/3 of the school year is already done. Uh, we're opening up next Monday with all 60% of students that want to come face to face. We're moving off the hybrid model, and we're going to have about 1,200 kids in that high school every day, 5 days a week. There's been a lot of pressure to do so, but I got to tell you, there's a lot of us on this side of it that are very nervous about it. And so I want to compliment the central office staff and the campus level staff because they worked really hard to come up with some clear, concise, what do we do if, and on that one, Dr. Barganski is going to talk with you. You had a sheet in your packet that she's going to go over. And then we got to talking about, we've got to have some sort of point that we say, okay, we got to move to the next phase. That is the 5 bulleted deal like this that Dr. Sham is going to talk about. So what we're really trying to do with this report is give you board members an idea of what's happening day to day in terms of how we're tracking this. And then what happens if we have a big spike, which I sincerely hope and pray that we do not, because I know that you're going to get asked about it, and we need to keep a close eye on this. I will tell you that already the tracking and the reporting and figuring out the category that the people fit into is taking a lot of time for central office and the campus level folks. But we've got to do it because we've got to know where we stand with this. So with that, Dr. Barganski, you want to talk a little bit about your sheet, please?
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. And good evening, board members. I just wanted to share with you a sheet that the nurses came up with to help staff members decide what needs to be done and not to forget something that needs to be done. And you have a sheet in front of you. We called it the test confirmed COVID-19 positive student. If a student contracts COVID-19 and the parent is supposed to let the campus know. When that happens, and it has happened, the principals pull out this sheet, and I know that it has become very handy for them to pull it out to make sure that they don't forget a step. And you'll notice that the first thing they need to do is verify the report. They'll ask the parent, in the lower levels, it has been the parent that has called in, and they'll ask them a series of questions. This is also to help me when I have to report it to the Nueces County Health Department, because a lot of the questions they're asking, the health department is asking me also. So the first thing they're going to do is try to get any data from the parent, and such as date, time they were positive, they found out they were positive, what facility that they were using. That's something that the health department wanted to know. And then they have number 2, they decide, okay, is the student just completely remote? Are they remote with some campus activity, or are they face-to-face instruction? And if they're remote, then they just report the name and the phone number to Dr. Sham is doing the secondary campuses. I'm doing the elementary campuses. Excuse me. So the ECC primary and elementary report to me. Intermediate, junior high, and high school report to Dr. Sham. And when we find out, we let the health department know, and we also let Ms. Sneed know, because she is tracking it on our website. Mm-hmm. If the student is remote with campus activities, or if they're face-to-face, they basically follow the same steps. They have to find out when was the last day that the student was on campus, Did they just come in for a few minutes and leave? Were they there for a half a day? Were they there for the whole day? What locations did they go to? Did they go to the cafeteria? Did they go to athletics? Did they go to every one of their classrooms? Did they ride the bus? The principals also have to determine if there was close contact in those areas. They have to report the information to me or to Dr. Sham. Also, the close contacts. If they find out there was close contact, they also have to report those names too. And again, we report any of those to the health department. Dr. Sham reports all of them to TEA, and we also let Ms. Sneed know. So the remote with campus activities and the face-to-face, they follow the same procedures there. Then that we find out if there's siblings in the family, and there have been, and we have to make sure that those siblings are quarantined also. We notify the maintenance department so they can go in and do a cleaning, a misting of the areas that the student that was tested positive for, and clean those areas. Then the principal has to also let the campus know, and what they have done is they have called the parents that the students that have had close contact. They make a phone call to those parents, and then they also send out a letter to the whole campus via Skyward. And then they update their tracking spreadsheet. Each campus has a tracking sheet that they're keeping up with. And then when they report the positives to us, we have a tracking sheet on the district level between Dr. Sham and myself. Mm-hmm. And then we also told them at the very bottom, we told them that if they receive any calls that someone wants to know a little bit more than what they are comfortable giving out, to call central office, and we would talk to that person, because we had found out that there were some people that were calling trying to get information that weren't even in the district, and trying to get information from other districts. So that's our sheet to help our principals follow the little steps on what to do when they find out that they have a student that has tested positive for COVID. I will tell you, at the elementary level, we were just talking about this at our meeting on Wednesday. Easy City has not had a case at all. So we were excited about that. Primary has had 2 cases. One of them has, both of them have completely recovered. So for 2 weeks, they were on the side that they had tested positive, and we've moved them to recovered now. They're back in school. And elementary has had 2 cases, and one has been moved to recover, and we have one that's still out for another week. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. Do you have any questions?
I do.
Okay.
The initial report comes from parents?
Yes, it does. Okay. And what they usually do is give the principal notification that they took their student to a clinic, them tested, and they have a little sheet that says that they were positive. Or they could also and say that they have, maybe the parent has COVID and the student was in close contact. So we also have to quarantine. That's when there's someone in the household that has been diagnosed with COVID-19. Okay. But that's where we're getting.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Any other board members have questions? Okay. All right, I guess we can go to the next page. Is that right?
Yes, Dr. Sham now.
Good evening, board members and everyone. So for my part, talk about our standard response protocol that we have in place for Flower Bluff ISD. And basically all the information that Dr. Burgansky shared, we needed some sort of plan of action to determine the stages for our district. So Alex, if you can please put the chart up. Okay, so as we move forward to reopen our schools safely, like I said, the district is now implementing the Flower Bluff COVID-19 Standard Response Protocol. We're using this as a tool to manage and minimize the risk of spreading the virus in the event that there is a case or cases of confirmed COVID-19 among students or staff. So what you're looking at in order to determine the stages for the district and or campuses, just like Dr. Burganski stated, we are monitoring the number of positive cases daily for each campus and other facilities such as departments like maintenance, nutrition, transportation, and central admin. So if you're looking at the graphic in front of you, there are 5 stages with descriptions of action taken to mitigate the spread of virus. And so I want to kind of go down through the stages. And let me tell you, this is very similar to what local health departments have. They call them operational levels and indicators. We're basically kind of modifying it to for our school operation purposes. So if you're looking at stage 1, if you notice, if our campus or the district states that it's at stage 1, basically what that is, it's prevention. Simply means that we are resuming most normal activities as usual, and we're implementing all of the district safety protocols in place. If we're moving to stage 2, that is the mitigation stage. And basically what that is saying is that you have 1 or more confirmed active cases at 1 or more campus or facility. Again, at this stage, all district protocols are in place. We're also deep cleaning those affected areas. And I will say that right now, the district is at a stage 2 because we do have, I believe we have 1 active staff case at the junior high, and we have 1 active student case at the junior high as well. And actually, that is it. And the one that Dr. Burganski mentioned earlier, 1 active case at the primary. But because we have those active cases, that's why we are on stage 2. If you move down to stage 3, those are the modified operations. And so what we've determined for stage 3, if confirmed active cases reach 5% of facility occupancy for grades pre-K through 8, then there are some actions that will take place. For grades 9 through 12, confirmed cases reaches 3% of facility occupancy, and that's where we go into modified operations. So in this stage, all impacted areas will move to remote learning. Again, affected areas will be closed for deep cleaning. And at the high school, because we're going with 3%, the high school at this time can go into a hybrid platform because we had applied for that hybrid waiver. And I just want to also mention that for stage 3, to determine these thresholds, the recommended thresholds, we consulted with the Nueces County Health Department, and we also examined other school response protocols to determine what our threshold would be for pre-K through 8 and for the high school as well. As you move into stage 4, that is a facility closure. And that basically means that the number of active cases has exceeded 10% of the facility occupancy. At this point, the entire facility and activities will be closed to sanitize, and all staff and students will move to remote learning. And then, of course, stage 5, that's where we never want to be. That is where you're looking at district closure. Confirmed active cases exceed 10% of the district in multiple facilities, or if there's directives given by the city, county, state, or national level orders, then at that time, we will close all facilities. And at that time, district will move into remote learning and all extracurricular activities will be canceled. We will follow UIL guidelines as well, but stage 5 is the level that's where we're kind of back to closure as well. And so, like I said, this is something that we're implementing to kind of gauge where we're at daily, and we're using our number of positive cases, and so to determine what stage we are at daily. And so parents, community, they can access this information. This handout is available on our website. In addition, the stages are updated daily as well. And then also to go along with this, we also have the COVID-19 tracker that keeps daily counts of our confirmed cases for students and staff, whether they are in the remote learning platform or the face-to-face learning platform. And so if you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer those for you.
I do have one question or one comment. I'm assuming, based on what you've said, that it's the active cases on campus and it does not include the remote learning.
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Why is the percentage different for the pre-K to 8 and 9 to 12?
Well, because at the high school, so let me give you an example. Right now at the high school, let's give you an example of the junior high. We have 594 students that we are expecting November the 3rd. So if you look at 5%, you're looking at 30 cases. So for the high school, we're looking at, like Mr. Kelly said, about 1,200. So you're looking about 33 cases. And at that point, with the 3%, we can go into a hybrid mode with the high school students. If you do the 5%, then you're looking at what, like 56, 57 cases. And at that time, you would have to go strictly into remote learning. So it's just to kind of keep the school open, but you're counting numbers at the same time for the other.
Let me jump in there. I had conversations with Mr. Crenshaw, several conversations, because many folks have the 5%. And he talked with, I forget the lady with the county health department. And
Annette.
Okay, and the recommendation is 5%, but anything less than that, they're all about. For us, like I say, when you add in, say, 32, 33 high school students plus teachers, you're probably getting up to about 40 active cases. We got a problem then. The reason that it's 3% for the smaller campuses is for that very reason. They have less population. It's going to equal out pretty much about the same, but it's that fine line of keeping an eye on this thing and trying to keep it contained if it gets to that point. So that's why there was different percentages. I believe that was Nicole, right, that asked that?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Again, we just wanted y'all to know, be aware that we're on top of this, but it requires a lot of manpower or woman power, I guess I should be politically correct, to keep this thing tracked. But it's so important to do so because we can't let it slip away. We just saw Kingsville shut down, I think a couple of campuses. Alice shut down, I think for a day or so. And I'm not sure that they had the same type of thing in place, but I'm really glad that we do. And I commend everybody for their hard work.
Yeah. I think this makes it a lot easier for everybody to make the call when they need to. I think my understanding is some of the schools you named are just kind of playing it by ear. They don't have a real percentage set. Okay. Thank you so much for all the hard work and for that report. Any other questions or comments from the board? And I removed my mask because Mr. Morgan sent me a message and said he couldn't understand what I was saying. So update from the school nutrition department. This is item 9B.
Good evening. Can y'all see me okay?
Yeah, we can. Hi.
Evening, board members, fellow administrators. How are you doing this evening?
Doing well.
Good. So did everyone get a copy of the report? I'm just going to highlight some areas. Currently, we're talking about the different types of meal services that we're offering for the school district. We have curbside meals, which we are still offering from 8 to 10 Mondays and Wednesdays. And on Mondays, they're allowed to get up to 2 meals, breakfast, that includes breakfast and lunch. And then on Wednesdays, they get up to 3 meals. And then we also are offering, and that's for the online students. And then we're also doing meals in the classroom. And we're offering the opportunity for the students to receive meals in the cafeteria as requested by principals. So whatever their decision was for their schools, whatever they felt was safe. We're trying to do our best, make sure that we're getting everybody fed, make sure we're doing it with a smile. And we are reduced staff right now to try to help manage our costs. And, hopefully here we're going to be returning to classrooms soon. I want to show you, if you look at that first little chart, it just tells you the number of students that we serve during the summer. And that's actually starting like the week after spring break, March 2020. I think it was March 11th when we started doing the curbside, and we did that until June, the end of June. We served 66,000, a little over 66,000 meals. And then on a normal year, I kind of wanted to give you some numbers so you could kind of compare that to. So we served 260,000, a little over 260,000 meals. We're still doing the universal free breakfast. Wanted to give you some numbers for that, as you could see. Wanted to show you that it will impact some of the students. We currently have about an average of 55 students who are on the reduced program that eat in the cafeteria. And for the paid students, we have about 437, 440, somewhere in there. We don't feel that eating breakfast at this time would be a really good idea with all of the things that are going on for our families at this time. We're going to continue to monitor our budget and keep up with it and give you another report at of course, a different time.
The only comment I would make is on the free breakfast. I think we decided that would begin in the next year, not this year at all. So we wanted to keep that throughout this year. So I don't think that's a concern. I appreciate you monitoring it and letting us know, but we definitely don't want to do it this fall that I know of.
Right.
No, yes.
January, when we start the next semester, correct?
January.
I think they're saying that they're going to keep it and look at it next year.
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry if I misspoke there.
Because I think the direction was we were going to try to stop it in the spring.
Right.
So
Right.
we need to seriously consider that even from a budgetary constraint at this time.
I want to just chime in, and a lot of the school districts in our area are continuing to do the summer seamless, where they're feeding all of their students.
Mhm.
They're not CEP, but they're choosing to continue to offer that community feed and feed wide because of the pandemic. And so
I hear that, but the other side of the coin is we have a financial responsibility too, and we need to seriously consider if we're going to continue it, regardless of what other school districts are doing.
Duly noted.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. You mentioned that we are operating on limited staff. What are those employees doing something else, or are they not with us anymore, or on?
we
Out
have
of-
not
out of work?
filled vacancies. We didn't lay any staff off. We've just
Okay.
through attrition have not filled vacancies.
That happens every year. That's an ongoing thing. Every year people move for whatever reason, and we have to fill those positions, but we're waiting to do that. We are
Thank
pretty busy though.
And I'm just going to jump in and say on every position that comes up, we're taking a hard look at whether we need to refill it, or can we bring in other people or do some shifting around to keep a close eye on that bottom dollar in terms of salaries. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this topic? All right, thank you very much. Let's move on to the consent agenda. All items under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Trustees and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as an item on the regular agenda. Is there anyone here who would like to pull any one of those, which includes approval of minutes of the regular meeting of September 24th, 2020, approval of out-of-district transfer students for 2021 school year, certification of tax levy for the tax year 2020, approve prevailing wage rates, approval of the School Health Advisory Committee, approval of the Employee Benefits Consultant, approve the annual investment report, approval of authorized organizations to conduct investment officer training, approval of resolution adopting approved broker dealer list, and consider approval of interlocal purchasing agreement with Purchasing Solutions Alliance.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as submitted with all those listed you just read.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hooper. And do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mrs. Welp. Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor, hands up, and I'm looking for Mr. Morgan. Are you there, Mr. Morgan?
He's gonna
Can you
have
give
to
me an
speak.
eye? Where is he? Oh.
Aye.
There you go. All right, let us move on to action item 11A. Approval of 2020 health benefit plan and stop loss insurance. Mr. Kelly.
I'm going to flip that right to Louise Day.
And I'm gonna flip to Burke Sunday. And you have a presentation in front of you, and it was emailed earlier also. And Alex will pull it up on the screen.
Good evening, board members. Okay, we'll get that up
Still
on the
there?
screen. Yes, can everyone hear me?
I think
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir. Now we see. Yes, sir. Now we good.
Okay, if you go ahead and advance a couple slides. One more. Okay, what we wanted to first do this evening, no, back one, please. There we go. What we wanted to do first this evening was to bring the board up to date on the financials. What you have in front of you is a comparison of the current plan year through September compared with the plan year through September of 19 and 2018. A couple items that I wanted to point out. If we take a look at our net claims payment in the green area, where we sit in this year, plan year compared to the 2018 plan year, we've seen about a 15.8% increase in net paid claims over that time period, which is just slightly above trend. A couple other things to note is that the deficit down at the very bottom, we have reduced our deficit by 31% from the prior year. And more importantly, we've reduced expenses from where we were 2 plan years ago by 5.6. So overall, we're making progress. And during this time period, it should be noted that we were working diligently to encourage your membership to enroll in the two higher financial efficient plans, the $3,000 narrow plan and the $4,000 high deductible health plan. To do that, the incentive that we were using was premium differentials that encourage people to make those decisions. And so you can see that we're still struggling a little with our revenue expense balance, but we are making progress. Next slide, please. Okay, the next thing we wanted to do was to spend a few minutes to talk about the district's plan as it compares, one of the district's plan as it compares with TRS Active Care. It's a lot of numbers on there, but basically the takeaway is this. In comparing the district's high deductible health plan with the TRS Active Care 1 high deductible health plan. A couple of things of note. The total out of pocket for the district's high deductible health plan is $4,000 for an individual, $8,000 for a family. That's about 42% or $2,900 lower comparing yours to the TRS plan. The other things of note is that the premium differentials, your premiums that you are contributing, both district and employee contributions, are slightly higher than the TRS Active Care plan. But when we look at this from an actuarial pricing standpoint, your plan is considered a much richer plan because of the things I just pointed out. And the differential spreads are less than the actuarial risk rate spread is. So all in all, you're still scoring well compared with TRS Active Care. Next slide. Okay, so our recommendations for the year, we're going to talk about structure and funding first. As we talked about at the last board meeting, we're recommending that we eliminate the 1,500 broad network plan. Our enrollment has dropped in the past several years to a low of only 4 employees still enrolled. The second item, we've been working with Louise on this to align the district's plan with the district's fiscal year. So we're recommending that we run a short year, January 2021 to August 2021, so that when we get to September 2021, the plan will then align with the district's fiscal year. It'll make it a little bit easier for budget purposes and a variety of other things. And we will make sure that in this transition, employees that will satisfy deductibles and out-of-pocket in the short year will be made whole as we move forward into the full plan year. The third recommendation is to make adjustments to the district employee contributions, which again, we discussed briefly at the last board meeting. Number 4, to reaffirm the recommended plan changes that we discussed at the September board meeting. We'll review those in a moment. And then finally, to continue to encourage population migration into the 3,000 Savings Choice narrow network plan and the 4,000 high deductible Savings Choice plan broad network through premium and rate differentials and this is a review of the changes we discussed at the September board meeting. Again, eliminating 1,500 broad. For the 3,000 Savings Choice and the 3,000 broad plan, we're recommending increasing the in-network out-of-pocket from 4,000 individual, 8,000 family to 6,000 individual, 12,000 family. Increasing the office visit copay for specialists from $40 to $50 per office visit. And then finally, increasing the emergency room copay from $250 per visit to $500. We can share with the board. I know there were some comments at the last meeting regarding the increase on the out-of-pocket. We only have about 3.5% of the total population defined as employees and dependents, all of the people that are enrolled, that would be an employee, a child or children, and spouse. So only about 3.5% of your population will be affected by this change on the out-of-pocket increase. More importantly, we believe that this would be a strong encouragement for people to look closer at the $4,000 high deductible health plan, which quite honestly, at the end of the day, even the best value proposition in terms of maximum out of pocket. Next slide, please. Okay, our recommendations regarding the administrative and stop loss. We recommend that you accept the negotiated individual stop loss and aggregate stop loss coverage with Sun Life Financial, your current stop loss carrier. This will be for an 8-month stop loss contract it will be a pay contract. So any claims that are paid, regardless of the date of incurral, it could be in the current plan year, and it could honestly be in the prior plan year. As long as those claims are paid between January 2021 and August 31st, 2021, then they will accrue towards the individual stop loss. The contract that we negotiated was a continuation of no new lasers at the renewal of the contract. We have one current laser at 300, which we accepted when we accepted the best and final offer from Sun Life a year ago. One item of note, we waited an additional month letting the September claims post so that after a review of those, we felt like it would be to the advantage of the district, and it turned out to be just that. We received a very favorable adjustment to all the components that make up the stop loss offering from Sun Life. And then finally, in this section, we're recommending that you accept the Aetna Administrative Services agreement, which will be guaranteed for 20 months. That will take us through December 31st, 2022. I'm sorry, August 31st, August 31st, 2022. Okay, this is where your homework comes in. Okay, this is what we're looking at is the adjustments on the stop loss factors, both medical and pharmacy. What I would like to really point out here is that those adjustments are about a 10.8% increase. We were originally projecting about a 17 or 18% adjustment to those factors during this 8-month time period. So we believe that we've done a good job together with the staff of the district, as well as our team in working with Sun to get these in the proper alignment. Down at the bottom is the fixed costs, the individual and aggregate stop loss. As you can see, there is a reduction in those costs. And again, that was due to our efforts in communicating effectively the risk with Sun Life. Next slide, please. The last item is, as you can see, the administrative services and the individual and aggregate stop loss level premiums together, the rates. The district is paying $171.71 per month for those fixed cost items, and that will reduce to $169.06 in the next 8-month period. Next slide. Our last thing to discuss tonight, and then I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have, is the recommended rates, both district and employee contributions by plan for the next 8-month period. As you can see, because of the overall increase in expected risk, we are recommending that the broad plan overall percentage increase come in at about 17.5% district and employee, the 3,000 narrow at 15, and then finally the 4,000 high deductible health plan increase at 7%. These are a little bit higher than obviously we would like to bring to the board, but again, our efforts in trying to align revenue and expenses and to try to continue to close the gap on the deficit. This will work very well in achieving that goal. As you can see, we have, in terms of our enrollment assumptions, we're assuming that obviously eliminating the 1,500 broad, no one will enroll in that. We're also assuming with monthly changes to the 4 tiers on the broad plan that people will move into the 3,000 narrow or the 4,000 high deductible health plan. We've also provided Louise some other potential assumptions of population migration, this being the most conservative in terms of revenue The other ones, if we do see some people elect to remain in the 3,000 broad, it will only enhance our revenue opportunities and thus again create a greater possibility of closing our deficit. More than happy to answer any questions that board or staff may have.
I have a question. Looking at the page that you're on, that's page 13, and looking at the 3,000 broad plan, the employee contributions are shown as 383, 1206, 1,000, and 1823 and change. And go back to the page 5 where it compares Flower Bluff Broad Plan to TRS Active Care. Those employee contributions don't line up with what's on that page, and I'm sure I'm just missing something. Tell me what I'm missing. Are we
Okay, if
talking
you'll
different
look on-
years?
No, sir. If you look at the bottom of page 13, the 4,000 high deductible health plan, the total monthly funding rates are the rates that are illustrated on page 5 that you referenced.
The first, or that first column, total month. Same color.
The slide on page 5 compares the high deductible plan with the TRS high deductible.
Okay. I thought it was going to, okay, I see what it is. So that's a total amount. When you look at that bottom part, this is a little misleading because it says employee only 504. When I read that, my expectation is that means our employees are paying 504. But it's not. That's the total.
That's the total premium before district contribution.
Yeah. Okay. That clears it up. I'm used to looking at these things where I'm selecting coverage and the numbers they put in front of you then are always what you're going to pay. That's why I misunderstood. Thank you.
No problem.
Other comments or questions from the board? We'll give you a minute, Mrs. Welp. Take a look at it.
Okay, earlier in the presentation, you mentioned that there were 3.5% of employees on the 3,000 savings, 3,000 broad. And so your proposal is to eliminate that plan as well as the 1,500 broad?
No, ma'am. We're only recommending eliminating the 1,500 broad plan because, again, we only have 4 employees that are enrolled in that plan out of your 563 current employees enrolled in your 4 medical plans.
But you don't show any projection in the 3,000 broad.
When we do a revenue analysis for Louise, we were looking at various population migrations to achieve really what we would define as the most conservative revenue assumptions. The last page that page 13 that you're referencing is the enrollment is just for our purposes in terms of what the population migration will look like. There's every reason to believe that someone will continue to select the 3,000 broad plan. That's why we have rates for those plans as we are going to continue to make it available.
I think it was the 3,000 savings choice that you said was, what savings choice is broad or narrow?
Narrow.
Okay, so savings choice has 3.5%. No, that has a lot more. I think the plans are named something different on each of the, like, for example, page 8 and page 13, they're named differently.
The savings choice is the narrow. The broad is always consistently called the broad. We've always had one name and Aetna has another.
I see.
So, yeah. But we'll
And
make sure we're clear on the employee presentations on that.
okay,
Naming.
thank you.
Yeah.
And the proposal that you're asking for tonight is moving deductible from 4,000 to 6,000, resulting in a negative 0.12% decrease in premium, while we are projecting a 17.5% premium increase to the employee, or a 15% increase to the employee respectively.
The proposal on the benefit changes are to reduce risk in the 3,000 savings choice and the 3,000 broad, and to encourage employees to look closer at the 4,000 high deductible health plan as a option for them, not only from the standpoint of benefits, but also from what they are paying from having deducted from their paycheck. And so that, while it's not a huge savings compared to the increase in the specialist office visit or the emergency room visit, again, we were offering this as a benefit change to again encourage population migration into the 4,000 high deductible health.
I think you're cutting out a little bit. We can't really hear what you're saying.
He was, Burke was reiterating what we talked about last month, that part of the modeling is to encourage employee migration into the more effective plan for a large majority of our employees. And so it's to we've talked a lot in the past about healthcare being that we need to be good consumers of our healthcare. We need to have our employees involved in consuming their healthcare. That's the only way you contain cost in the plan. If your employees are actively seeking the least cost, most effective care that they can have. So they make, a choice to go to the Minute Clinic that's free versus going to the ER in a box that's $3,000 to the plan. And so it's a delicate balance between modifying employee behavior, trying to preserve the best benefit plan that we can for our employees that we can afford. And then there's a budgetary constraint balanced in there. And so it all works together.
Louise, do we still have an insurance committee with employees on that committee?
There is a benefits committee, but due to the, pandemic, we have not been able to have benefit committee meetings. Everybody's just pretty overwhelmed.
They've not seen any of these numbers.
Right.
Then.
All right, I have a question. And I think it's been covered before, but it's left me scratching my head. So on the 3,000 savings choice, I'm on page 8, and the 3,000 broad, the proposal is to increase the maximum out of pocket from 4,000 to 6,000 and 8,000 to 12,000. And the savings, I'm assuming that decrement, that's not a term I've ever used. I'm assuming that's the savings to the district is 12/100%. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm sorry?
That's correct.
Sorry, but that just doesn't make any sense to me that we're going to put an extra, 50% additional burden on our employees without a pocket. You start talking about $6,000, that's a huge chunk of our staff workers. All the people who are on the lower end of the pay scale there, 6,000, and if they had the family 12,000. I mean, that's a huge chunk, and it's a pretty significant increase for virtually no savings to the district. I'm not understanding why we're doing that. I'm sorry?
I think that was your.
The primary, as I mentioned in my comments earlier, only about 3.5% of your total population even had claims in the last 12 months that even got close to the 4,000 out of pocket. So it's not a effort to squeeze your employees in that respect. It is to create more of a visual so that your employees in their selection process will look stronger at enrolling in the 4,000 high deductible health plan. So the combination of the benefit differential and the significantly lower premiums that they pay for themselves and their covered family members for the high deductible health plan, it's really more to provide continued efforts on the part of both visual and financial for people to look at the plans that will result in a greater financial opportunity for the district to have sustainable health plans for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, the problem that I'm having, I guess, is I'm trying to evaluate this, and I don't have element of these different plans. I don't, I'm looking, I got one sample at the very beginning of the HP broad network, and I assume that's the 4,000 that we're talking about. The name differentials don't help either. But looking at that, I don't have the 3,000 savings, the 3,000 broad to look at the benefits to see, okay, we increase the cost to the employees, potential cost to employees on the 3,000 plans to push them up into the higher deductible plan. What does the difference look like in terms of the benefits that they get? I really don't have that.
We've presented in the past, and that hasn't changed. If I am an employee who is in the 3,000 narrow plan and I go to the 4,000 high deductible plan, the high deductible plan is a plan where you pay your first dollars of your health care. So if you go to the doctor, there's not a copay, you pay the doctor's bill. If you get a pharmacy filled, you pay the pharmacy bill. It's not a copay system in a high deductible plan. Our high deductible plan is paired with a $1,200 HSA contribution by the district. So your typical employee, let me back up a second. You also have the same wellness care under the current law that you do in the other plan. So wellness care is free. So to go get your annual female exam or an annual physical and get your, maintenance medications filled, that's a free visit to the doctor. So that doesn't change. Your $1,200 goes in an HSA account. We highly encourage in the training that you contribute the difference in your premium savings into your HSA with the goal of building up your deductible in your HSA. Your HSA does not go away. So if I'm an employee who got $1,200 and I go have a wellness check and I don't do anything else, at the end of the year, I have $1,200 still in that account plus anything I contribute. And so you have an opportunity to save for your future health care, tax advantage that doesn't go away, it's your funds. So for a large percent of your employees that are just getting a wellness check once a year, they're not big consumers of health care. They are financially better off having gone to an HSA account and build that money for the future. The comparison that we gave you on 5, I asked Bert to present that comparison because our alternative to a self-funded health plan is TRS. And our employees have much better benefits on any of our plans than they would if we went to a TRS plan. Their plans have 0 out of network benefit on a lot of them. There's a lot of benefits that are buried in there that we still have a strong benefit plan for our employees that doesn't exist in the TRS environment. But we still have to pay our bills.
Yeah, that's what I needed to hear. I understand where we're coming from now. Once you put that together for me, and I'm looking at the employee contributions for the 4,000 plan, and you talked about the savings account or the savings plan and the strategy of putting that premium difference aside for that. Now that makes some sense. So yeah, I can agree with this now. I just was a little concerned that we might be pulling the rug out from underneath people, even if it was just perception, but I get it. And as long as we're communicating the strategy, I've got a son who is in Katy ISD going through the same stuff and really angry about the options and so forth. And I looked at it and, it's just the strategy has changed. There's not free healthcare anymore for employees. You have to pay your way, and health insurance really is now about major operations or accidents, things like that. So thank you. That makes it make a lot more sense. I'm good.
Very good. Very good. Any other questions?
And
comments?
Miss Day, on the page 8, the 4,000 HDHP high deductible, it says no changes, but currently, can I write that in? What is it currently? 4,000?
Well, there were no change. You pay your own health care for the first $4,000. That's
Okay,
how a
4,000.
high deductible plan works by definition. And so I'm paying for my first, doctor's visit, prescriptions. If I have an x-ray, I'm paying those bills in a 4,000 high deductible.
And Louise, when do we typically bring the committee together each year?
When do we typically have open enrollment?
Well, bring the benefits committee. When do
We would
bring them-
normally have met with them prior to this point. And we're definitely going to need to involve them in our plan year change when things get a little more normalized. And
with Zoom, can you bring them in to do that? Because I really, this affects them more than does anybody sitting in this room, other than people who are employed here. And so it would be, I like it when they have an opportunity to see this before we do. They need to see it before we do.
yes,
I agree.
and I can appreciate that.
Can I ask a question about the medication prescriptions? Is it with the high deductible plan? Do you still, I see it has tier 1, tier 2. Do you still get like the insurance rate?
Yeah, you get the insurance price. And so if Aetna or Express Scripts, with the doctor, Aetna negotiates a discount, you get the discounted price. With Express Scripts, you get the discounted price. And I can tell you, I'm a consumer of the high deductible plan, and I use GoodRx. We've all seen it on TV. I'll look it up on there, and I'll do it outside of the healthcare because I can do it for $5 or $10 with GoodRx with a coupon at HEB instead of doing it with Express Scripts. And it's a personal choice. I don't necessarily get credit for that in my deductible because I did it outside the system, but it benefits me in the long run. So
Yeah, to support what you're saying, Louise, about the plans, and having a little bit of outsider's experience in this, both negotiating with unions as well as dealing with it individually and then dealing with it company-wise. What I can tell you is that the high deductible plan that's proposed or that we've had, and the rates that are there for the employees, and the $1,200 into an HSA, this is one heck of a deal. Because if you look at the differentials you just take the 3,000 broad plan and you look at the differential in your monthly charges and what you're going to save and the $1,200, you pay for that $4,000 real quick. And then you also get into the maximum out of pocket for, your family there, the deductible on the family, because then it pays basically 100% after you hit that 4,000. That's almost unheard of. So I look at these plans maybe a little bit differently than everybody else does, because I do see what's going on market wise and how people are getting pushed into, and we're doing the same here, into more of the high deductible plan. And the whole goal and objective is to basically get people to be more responsible in spending the dollars, so that when they spend it and it comes out of their pocket first, they didn't just pay it in a premium, they make a better choice. So, I'm supportive of the direction. Unfortunately, there's some added cost if you choose other plans, but I still think the high deductible plan that Louise has chosen, I think it's a heck of a deal.
Thank you, Mr. Hooper. That's good for us to know. Okay, are we ready for somebody to make a motion then?
So moved to approve.
Thank you, Mr.
We
Hooper.
hadn't heard from Mr. Morgan if he had an opportunity.
Mr. Morgan?
Kinda hidden in there.
I have to say that in all lines of insurance right now, the most difficult one to deal with is health insurance cost. I have a good group health plan. I use Good RX on some of my prescriptions because I can get a much better buy outside my plan. And again, with what Mr. Hooper was saying, we've got to be able to make sure that we offer the best coverage that we can. And I think the plan that's presented in the market the way it is right now, they've done a very good job in trying to bring this to us.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, so we have a motion for Mr. Hooper. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Peters. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Mr. Morgan, are you there?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. All right. And thanks everyone for this. I know it was a lot of work, and we appreciate everything that everybody's done to try. Mr. Sunday, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the support of the board. Thanks, Louise.
Thank you, Bert.
You have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you both. Thank you for your patience. I'm a little slow on this one.
No problem. It's sometimes it can be very complicated, a lot of moving numbers, but all's well. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to action item 11B, approval of out-of-state travel and school-sponsored trips. Mr. Kelly.
This one shouldn't be as complicated as the last one. Tracy Dennis, you want to help us out on this one? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you are.
So we have ROTC who normally goes out on competitions. One of them's already been canceled. The one in Pensacola has been canceled, but they also have the other one that's still open, but we're waiting to see if it's actually going to follow through. But he needs to go ahead and make plans as if it's going to happen. But of course, COVID's going to really dictate whether they go out of state or not.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hooper. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Needham. Any questions, comments? I hope they get to go.
Me
I
too.
really hope they get to go. Okay, all in favor? Mr. Morgan?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item 11C, approve the repair cost for high school 200 and 800 hall heating replacement.
Ronnie Robles, you're up.
Good evening, board. Thanks for the opportunity. What you have before you is repair of or replacement of 2 boilers, which are the heating elements for the high school. Went out for bids. We have 2 bids submitted. 2 companies, a base bid and an alternate bid. We've chose the alternate bid for $261,140. It is a budgeted item. It did exceed the budgeting dollars, but with the help of Ms. Louise Day, we're able to fund the repair. Also, Mr. Jared Murtis, professional engineer, is online if you have any questions pertaining to the actual repair or replacement.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Mr. Robles, looks like we're good. We're going to call for a motion.
I'll move we approve the boilers.
Thank you, Mr. Hooper. In a second.
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Welp. Other questions, comments at all? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
There we go.
All right, thank you, Mr. Robles. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all very much.
Item 11D is, this is the one we've been trying to get approved for a while. Approval of policy update 115 local affecting local policies. Well, all of those listed there.
Yes. Yes. This is what we brought to you before. Mr. Rank had some questions, and I have talked with Bill Beekler, our attorney. He's advising us that we need to adopt these. They are recommended by TASB. And Bill said we need these in place because there are some changes to Title IX reporting that I've got to be honest with you, I'm not well versed in completely yet, but Bill would like to have this in place in case we are challenged in that particular area. So I'm simply asking that we adopt update 115 local, please.
Okay.
So moved.
Was that Michael?
Michael.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Voice from above. And second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Welp. Any questions or comments?
No.
Discussion, okay.
The letter that you forward to us, how does that play into all of this?
I don't, we had Bill Beekler look at it, and there is a follow-up letter that goes with that. And this, it's not that they're necessarily on target. As a matter of fact, they weren't on target.
The people who wrote the letter?
Yes, the people who wrote, it's kind of like what you sent your comment to me.
Yeah.
So it's, I think this is something that we have to do because now there's this magic dance, I guess, that's happening between the Title VII and Title IX regs. Is that correct, Kelly?
Yes, Jim, the group was advocating that no school board adopt these. Just because you don't adopt them doesn't mean that you're not still liable to, follow the interpretation of the law. And the letter that TASB sent out, I can send to everyone. I didn't think about sending it to everyone. Bill was the one that provided it because he sits on a board that stays abreast of all the breaking for school attorneys for all the stuff that relates to them. And this is in their letter, they talk about that this is a Christian advocacy group that hires lawyers that have a track record of suing school districts. Bill says that the actual pieces that they are talking about, they're taking them out of context, and that it really doesn't matter one way or the other in that. In fact, on that one particular paragraph that Shirley had brought up, eliminating, we could eliminate it, but it's really inconsequential. So I know that Bill, I trust Bill completely, and I will send that letter that counteracts the one from, I believe the group was called Texas Values, and you'll get a better understanding of it.
Okay.
Yeah, my response to Shirley after I read it is, I said, it's interesting, but I take everything with a grain of salt because I don't know the agenda behind them. So thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Thank you, sir. All right, let's move on to action item 11E, approval of the memorandum of understanding between Corpus Christi Police Department and Flower Bluff Independent School District Police Department.
This is our last hurdle in terms of forming the police department. This MOU has been reviewed by Bill Beekler and the legal staff that Chief Markle has at his disposal. Once it contains the piece about the communications, and once we approve this, then tomorrow, Jennifer and Shirley will sign 3 copies. Mr. Fisher will go to Chief Markle's office. He'll sign off on all 3. He'll keep, we'll send 1 to Teakle. And the turnaround that Lieutenant Canella with Teakle gave me was about a week and a half. Once that he approves that, he's already been on site and approved our facility at the high school. And once we get that, what we get is an agency number, and then we're off to the races. We can then hire a police chief, and we have already been interviewing, and I expect to bring an outstanding candidate to the December 3rd meeting. So we're asking that you approve the MOU between Flower Bluff ISD and CCPD.
Okay, thank you, sir. A motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU.
Thank you, Hooper, and a second.
Second.
Okay, I think I got Dr. Needham first. Questions or comments, anyone on the board?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
There it is, okay. Very good. Let's move on to item 11F. Emergency approval of proposed revisions to policy DH local employee standards of conduct.
This is this only called emergency because that's what Eric Narcisse, our for our particular district, recommended. It's only emergency because we're not going to see it twice. What this does is it backs up what the board has already passed with CKE local. I put it in front of Bill. He's good with it and says that it's necessary. So we're asking the board to approve DH local, please.
I make a motion to approve
Okay,
item F.
thank you, Mr. Hooper. And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Needham. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
It's a little delayed. Very good. Okay. Wow. Yay, that's done. We can get through that. I want to skip over to personnel recommendations very quickly because I do know that we're going into a closed meeting and we don't want everybody to feel like they have to hang around. I would like to point out that for those who are hanging around, there are some cookies. Thank you very much for those. Motion for personnel recommendations for item 13, please.
Make a motion, Madam President, to approve the personnel recommendations.
I second.
In a second, was that Mr. Hooper? Thank you. I don't know where it's coming from. All in favor?
Aye.
You're getting better, a little bit faster on the draw. Okay, Mr. Kelly, we are going into closed session, correct? Okay.
Madam President, I make a motion that we move into closed meeting, which may be conducted under Texas Government Code Sections 551071, consultation with an attorney, 072 real property, 073 prospective gifts, 074 personnel matters, 076 security devices, 082 student discipline, 082 employee complaints, 0821 personally identifiable information about public school student, and 087 economic development negotiations. Public notice is given pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act Code Section Chapter 551 that the Flower Bluff ISD Board may elect to go into closed meeting anytime during the above meeting for discussion of subject properly before them when authorized by the provisions of said act. All final votes, actions, or decisions will be taken in open session.
Okay, very good. And a second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let the record, where's the clock? Let the record show that we have gone into closed session at 7:25 p.m.
Principals, if I was there, I'd know exactly how to show my appreciation for the job that you do each and every day. Breakfast tacos. But I'm not there, so I've got to zoom in to tell you how much I appreciate you. I am completely amazed at your passion each of you has for your campus, your kids, your community, your teachers. It's just outstanding. And I just want you to know that I appreciate the job that you do. You take so much off of my plate and make my job easier, and I appreciate it. And I give you my pledge that I will make sure that the next superintendent provides breakfast tacos at all of your meetings. Thank you, I appreciate you.
The business office appreciates all you do for the kids of Flower Bluff. Woo!
To all the principals out in Flower Bluff ISD, we want to give you all a shout out.
Thank you!
On behalf of Flower Bluff Athletics and Flower Bluff Football, we want to let all of our campus principals at Flower Bluff ISD know how much we love and appreciate their hard work. This group especially wants to thank Mr. Crenshaw for his dedication to our high school. Happy Principal Month, Mr. Crenshaw and all the
Thank you, Flower Bluff principals. We appreciate and love you and appreciate your teamwork. Thank you!
Flower Bluff principals, we wanted to let you know that your hard work, your dedication, and your support has not gone unnoticed. So on behalf of the Flower Bluff IT department, we want to give you one big thank you!
From all of us in the Public Information Office, Print Shop, and Spirit Shop, we appreciate our campus principals for all you do for the students and staff of FBISD. Thank you!
On behalf of the transportation staff, our bus drivers, and our bus attendants, we want to say thank you to all the school principals, your assistant principals as well. We appreciate everything you do each and every day.
And on behalf of maintenance, custodial, and receiving, we want to say thank you and for everything you do, and we're here for whatever you need.
On behalf of maintenance and transportation and myself, to all principals and all staff, thank you very much for everything that you do and everything that you work for. And everybody, thank you.
Thank you.
In honor of National Principals Month, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Flower Bluff Independent School District, I would like to say thank you to our principals. They are the captains of their ships. They are responsible for everything that happens on their campuses, whether it's student achievement, which is what we think the most about, but it's also about safety, security, helping new teachers, and even the more experienced teachers be the best they can possibly be. Our principals, who guide our ships every day, mean the world to us, and we thank them for all that they do on a daily basis.
Flower Bluff Independent School District, devoted to innovation, excellence, and tradition, with dedicated teachers providing a quality education and award-winning extracurricular programs for all students. Begin your legacy here. Come and see what the Flower Bluff Independent School District has to offer your student.
Did you know that staying connected to your child's school is one of the best ways to ensure academic success? At Flower Bluff ISD, we are committed to providing quality information so parents have the opportunity to make timely decisions regarding their child's education. The Flower Bluff ISD district website is a great place to keep you and your child connected to Flower Bluff ISD. You can find information on school hours, dress code, meals, as well as keep up with the latest news from around the district. The award-winning FBISD website is also responsive to mobile and is easy to navigate. Find out more at flowerbluffschools.net.
We're excited to welcome back FBISD students to in-person instruction beginning October 5th. It has been over 6 months since schools were shut down to on-campus instruction, and we can't wait to see our Hornets back on campus. When students return on campus, it will be different. Over the past few months, the district has implemented new processes and procedures to ensure a safe and healthy school environment for students and staff. Parents will be expected to screen their child for COVID-19 symptoms each day prior to sending their child to school. Self-screen should include taking the child's temperature. If the child is experiencing any of the COVID-19 symptoms outlined in the district's reopening plan and the symptoms are not normal for the child, the student should stay home and seek appropriate medical attention. One of the biggest changes students can expect when they return to campus is the wearing of a face mask. All students will be required to wear a face mask as they arrive on campus and enter the school building. Face masks will also be required while students are in public spaces or when transitioning from class to class. At the ECC and primary campuses, students can remove their mask once they arrive in their classroom and are in their spaces. Students at the elementary, intermediate, junior high, and high school campuses will be asked to keep their mask on during the school day. However, masks can be removed when students are at their desk or if they need a mask break. Teachers will provide additional details on each classroom expectation. When students arrive on campus, there will be a number of different entrances students will be directed to use. Campuses will provide families with specific instructions on which entrance their student should enter. Signage will also be displayed to help students know which door they should go in. When students leave for the school day, they will also utilize various exit doors to ensure social distancing is in effect and crowding is minimized. Regular hand washing and usage of hand sanitizer will be an important part of our goal to keep students healthy. Students will need to sanitize their hands once they arrive on campus, when entering the classroom, before meals, after PE or breaks, and after utilizing the restroom. According to the CDC, hand washing is an integral part of reducing the spread of germs. Water fountains across the district have been retrofitted to allow students to use them by filling up a personal water bottle. We are encouraging students to bring their own personal water bottle container with them to school each day. Meals will be served in the classroom and in the cafeteria. Each campus has a different plan on how meals will be served. Some campuses will begin meal service in the classroom with plans to transition students to eating meals in the cafeteria. Other campuses will provide all meals in the cafeteria and have expanded the number of lunch sessions to allow for social distancing and a fewer number of students in the cafeteria. Directional signage has been implemented on floors at all campuses. Arrows, lines, social distancing dots, and other symbols are in place to help remind students to maintain social distancing and reduce the cross-flow of traffic in hallways. Signage is also posted on doors and walls. These are visible reminders to our students about important steps they need to take to stay healthy and reduce the spread of germs. Classrooms have been set up to provide safe spaces between students. Desks are socially distanced, and each desk or station will have a clear plastic divider. Instructional supplies will not be shared between students. Students will only utilize their own school supplies. Classroom materials will be sanitized between uses. At the end of the school day, Flower Bluff ISD janitorial staff will deep clean facilities and all classrooms. Throughout the school day, staff will sanitize high-touch areas such as doorknobs. Where age appropriate, students will be asked to assist in keeping areas clean by wiping down desks using a disinfectant and wipes. We hope this information is helpful as your child prepares to return to in-person learning at Flower Bluff ISD. Campuses will provide additional details on specific procedures to families. We look forward to seeing you for our reopening day, Monday, October 5th.
The best way to show your Hornet pride is with the right apparel. The Flower Bluff Hornet Spirit Shop has got just what you need. It is a one-stop shop for all your Hornet gear and apparel. Stop by to see our selection of Spirit shirts, hats, specialty items, gifts, and much more. The Hornet Spirit Shop is located across Waldron Road from Flower Bluff High School, and we're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Follow us on Facebook by searching Hornet Spirit Shop. Go Hornets!
Principals, if I was there, I'd know exactly how to show my appreciation for the job that you do each and every day. Breakfast tacos. But I'm not there, so I've got to zoom in to tell you how much I appreciate you. I am completely amazed at your passion each of you has for your campus, your kids, your community, your teachers. It's just outstanding. And I just want you to know that I appreciate the job that you do. You take so much off of my plate and make my job easier, and I appreciate it. And I give you my pledge that I will make sure that the next superintendent provides breakfast tacos at all of your meetings. Thank you. I appreciate you.
The business office appreciates all you do for the kids of Flower Bluff. Woo!
To all the principals out in Flower Bluff ISD, we want to give you all a shout out.
Thank you!
On behalf of Flower Bluff Athletics and Flower Bluff Football, we want to let all of our campus principals at Flower Bluff ISD know how much we love and appreciate their hard work. This group especially wants to thank Mr. Crenshaw for his dedication to our high school. Happy Principal Month, Mr. Crenshaw and all the group.
Thank you, Flower Bluff principals. We appreciate and love you and appreciate your teamwork. Thank you!
Flower Bluff principals, we wanted to let you know that your hard work, your dedication, and your support has not gone unnoticed. So on behalf of the Flower Bluff IT department, we want to give you one big thank you!
From all of us in the Public Information Office, Print Shop, and Spirit Shop, we appreciate our campus principals for all you do for the students and staff of FBISD. Thank you!
On behalf of the transportation staff, our bus drivers, and our bus attendants, we want to say thank you to all the school principals, your assistant principals as well. We appreciate everything you do each and every day.
And on behalf of maintenance, custodial, and receiving, we want to say thank you and for everything you do, and we're here for whatever you need.
On behalf of maintenance and transportation and myself, to all principals and all staff, thank you very much for everything that you do and everything that you work for. And everybody, thank you. Thank you.
In honor of National Principals Month, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Flower Bluff Independent School District, I would like to say thank you to our principals. They are the captains of their ships. They are responsible for everything that happens on their campuses, whether it's student achievement, which is what we think the most about, but it's also about safety, security, helping new teachers, and even the more experienced teachers be the best they can possibly be. Our principals who guide our ships every day mean the world to us, and we thank them for all that they do on a daily basis.
Flower Bluff Independent School District, devoted to innovation, excellence, and tradition, with dedicated teachers providing a quality education and award-winning extracurricular programs for all students. Begin your legacy here. Come and see what the Flower Bluff Independent School District has to offer your student.
Did you know that staying connected to your child's school is one of the best ways to ensure academic success? At Flower Bluff ISD, we are committed to providing quality information so parents have the opportunity to make timely decisions regarding their child's education. The Flower Bluff ISD district website is a great place to keep you and your child connected to Flower Bluff ISD. You can find information on school hours, dress code, meals, as well as keep up with the latest news from around the district. The award-winning FBISD website is also responsive to mobile and is easy to navigate. Find out more at flowerbluffschools.net.
We're excited to welcome back FBISD students to in-person instruction beginning October 5th. It has been over 6 months since schools were shut down to on-campus instruction, and we can't wait to see our Hornets back on campus. When students return on campus, it will be different. Over the past few months, the district has implemented new processes and procedures to ensure a safe and healthy school environment for students and staff. Parents will be expected to screen their child for COVID-19 symptoms each day prior to sending their child to school. Self-screen should include taking the child's temperature. If the child is experiencing any of the COVID-19 symptoms outlined in the district's reopening plan and the symptoms are not normal for the child, the student should stay home and seek appropriate medical attention. One of the biggest changes students can expect when they return to campus is the wearing of a face mask. All students will be required to wear a face mask as they arrive on campus and enter the school building. Face masks will also be required while students are in public spaces or when transitioning from class to class. At the ECC and primary campuses, students can remove their mask once they arrive in their classroom and are in their spaces. Students at the elementary, intermediate, junior high, and high school campuses will be asked to keep their mask on during the school day. However, masks can be removed when students are at their desk or if they need a mask break. Teachers will provide additional details on each classroom expectation. When students arrive on campus, there will be a number of different entrances students will be directed to use. Campuses will provide families with specific instructions on which entrance their student should enter. Signage will also be displayed to help students know which door they should go in. When students leave for the school day, they will also utilize various exit doors to ensure social distancing is in effect and crowding is minimized. Regular hand washing and usage of hand sanitizer will be an important part of our goal to keep students healthy. Students will need to sanitize their hands once they arrive on campus, when entering the classroom, before meals, after PE or breaks, and after utilizing the restroom. According to the CDC, hand washing is an integral part of reducing the spread of germs. Water fountains across the district have been retrofitted to allow students to use them by filling up a personal water bottle. We are encouraging students to bring their own personal water bottle container with them to school each day. Meals will be served in the classroom and in the cafeteria. Each campus has a different plan on how meals will be served. Some campuses will begin meal service in the classroom with plans to transition students to eating meals in the cafeteria. Other campuses will provide all meals in the cafeteria and have expanded the number of lunch sessions to allow for social distancing and a fewer number of students in the cafeteria. Directional signage has been implemented on floors at all campuses. Arrows, lines, social distancing dots, and other symbols are in place to help remind students to maintain social distancing and reduce the cross-flow of traffic in hallways. Signage is also posted on doors and walls. These are visible reminders to our students about important steps they need to take to stay healthy and reduce the spread of germs. Classrooms have been set up to provide safe spaces between students. Desks are socially distanced, and each desk or station will have a clear plastic divider. Instructional supplies will not be shared between students. Students will only utilize their own school supplies. Classroom materials will be sanitized between uses. At the end of the school day, Flower Bluff ISD janitorial staff will deep clean facilities and all classrooms. Throughout the school day, staff will sanitize high-touch areas such as doorknobs. Where age-appropriate, students will be asked to assist in keeping areas clean by wiping down desks using a disinfectant and wipes. hope this information is helpful as your child prepares to return to in-person learning at Flower Bluff ISD. Campuses will provide additional details on specific procedures to families. We look forward to seeing you for our reopening day, Monday, October 5th.
The best way to show your Hornet pride is with the right apparel. The Flower Bluff Hornet Spirit Shop has got just what you need. It is a one-stop shop for all your Hornet gear and apparel. Stop by to see our selection of Spirit shirts, hats, specialty items, gifts, and much more. The Hornet Spirit Shop is located across Waldron Road from Flower Bluff High School, and we're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Follow us on Facebook by searching Hornet Spirit Shop. Go Hornets!
Principals, if I was there, I'd know exactly how to show my appreciation for the job that you do each and every day. Breakfast tacos. But I'm not there, so I've got to zoom in to tell you how much I appreciate you. I am completely amazed at your passion each of you has for your campus, your kids, your community, your teachers. It's just outstanding. And I just want you to know that I appreciate the job that you do. You take so much off of my plate and make my job easier, and I appreciate it. And I give you my pledge that I will make sure that the next superintendent provides breakfast tacos at all of your meetings. Thank you, I appreciate you.
The business office appreciates all you do for the kids of Flower Bluff. Woo!
To all the principals out in Flower Bluff ISD, we want to give you all a shout out.
Thank you!
On behalf of Flower Bluff Athletics and Flower Bluff Football, we want to let all of our campus principals at Flower Bluff ISD know how much we love and appreciate their hard work. This group especially wants to thank Mr. Crenshaw for his dedication to our high school. Happy month, Mr. Crenshaw and all our principals.
Thank you, Flower Bluff principals. We appreciate and love you and appreciate your teamwork. Thank you.
Flower Bluff principals, we wanted to let you know that your hard work, your dedication, and your support has not gone unnoticed. So on behalf of the Flower Bluff IT department, we want to give you one big thank you.
From all of us in the Public Information Office, Print Shop, and Spirit Shop, we appreciate our campus principals for all you do for the students and staff of FBISD. Thank you.
On behalf of the transportation staff, our bus drivers, and our bus attendants, we want to say thank you to all the school principals, your assistant principals as well. We appreciate everything you do each and every day.
And on behalf of maintenance, custodial, and receiving, we want to say thank you and for everything you do, and we're here for whatever you need.
On behalf of maintenance and transportation and myself, to all principals and all staff, thank you very much for everything that you do and everything that you work for. And everybody, thank you.
Thank you.
In honor of National Principals Month, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Flower Bluff Independent School District, I would like to say thank you to our principals. They are the captains of their ships. They are responsible for everything that happens on their campuses, whether it's student achievement, which is what we think the most about, but it's also about safety, security, helping new teachers, and even the more experienced teachers be the best they can possibly be. Our principals, who guide our ships every day, mean the world to us, and we thank them for all that they do on a daily basis.
Flower Bluff Independent School District, devoted to innovation, excellence, and tradition, with dedicated teachers providing a quality education and award-winning extracurricular programs for all students. Begin your legacy here. Come and see what the Flower Bluff Independent School District has to offer your student.
Did you know that staying connected to your child's school is one of the best ways to ensure academic success? At Flower Bluff ISD, we are committed to providing quality information so parents have the opportunity to make timely decisions regarding their child's education. The Flower Bluff ISD district website is a great place to keep you and your child connected to Flower Bluff ISD. You can find information on school hours, dress code, meals, as well as keep up with the latest news from around the district. The award-winning FBISD website is also responsive to mobile and is easy to navigate. Find out more at flowerbluffschools.net.
We're excited to welcome back FBISD students to in-person instruction beginning October 5th. It has been over 6 months since schools were shut down to on-campus instruction, and we can't wait to see our Hornets back on campus. When students return on campus, it will be different. Over the past few months, the district has implemented new processes and procedures to ensure a safe and healthy school environment for students and staff.
There's Louise. Okay, so let the record show that we are returning.
I did have some printed up. Okay.
Okay, that we're coming out of closed session at 7:50 p.m. No decisions were made while in closed session. We are now at item 14, calendar. Things on the calendar, Mr. Kelly. Where did we lose him?
Yeah, we're back.
He's back.
I'm
There he
back.
is. Jack?
Okay.
All right, we're at the calendar. I've already done the official part of it, so we're ready to go. Calendar?
Nothing.
Anything like, is this where we're going to talk about the parade, Mr. Kelly?
Well,
Did you
I was gonna go in with under announcements. I've got 3 or 4 different deals, and one is the homecoming deal. So
Okay, well, let me get the calendar. We have our dates, December 12th and 13th. Is that correct?
yep,
And our regular board meeting, which is the combo for November and December, is December the 3rd.
correct.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody knows that. And board members, remember, if you have any agenda items for the December 3rd meeting, please let us know. And now we're ready for announcements, sir.
Okay, homecoming parade, as we talked about, is going to happen. It's going to be it's a really neat idea. Mr. Crenshaw and crew came up with. It's going to be called the reverse parade, and so like all the groups, as Mr. Crenshaw put it, think about it. All the football players, they're slobbering over each other, every day. So let's put all teams, each cohort group, excuse me, line them up out in front of the school, and we're going to line the cars up, and it's going to be the cars are going to drive by. That way the kids aren't mingling, just trying to be as safe as possible. And then the FB is going to burn, and I think we're going to have the band, we're going to have Rotzi, and I think it's going to be a fun deal. They're still working out on all the details. Kim is working with the police department in terms of shutting down Waldron for a little bit. So here's my deal that I want to say to y'all. If y'all are interested in participating, which would mean getting there and riding in a golf cart to lead it off, let Monica know by Wednesday. We have 3 golf carts, but I think Mr. Crenshaw and crew is going to need 1. But Don told me that we have rented golf carts before. So if every one of you wanted to go, great. We could get some extra golf carts and y'all could lead off the parade. So if you let Monica know by Wednesday, we'll have it all planned out. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to, since I know we're not going to go all the way down. It's going to be like the first one we had the revival of it back in 92. I think we used to start on Capo before they built the houses there.
Right.
But now we're lining up. Where would we be lining up?
You're going to be the one map that I've seen, and don't hold me to this because it's going to be something close to this, but they're going to start putting the cars in there like at 4:15. So you basically be over in the parking lot by the library and peel out onto Waldron, take a right, and go down in front of all the groups. And I'm not sure what the roundup is because, I mean, where they go from there, but they're working on that. Okay.
Okay. So we'll have all of all of Waldron Road, Waldron Road will be closed down. Is that what you're saying? The whole
Well,
thing
we
will be
got
closed
some,
down?
I don't know all the ins and outs of this.
I know that section.
Yeah. Well, here's,
But the whole thing,
here's the one
the whole
deal.
road will be closed down both sides?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're still trying. They're working with the police department right now because you got Domino's over there, and there's some sort of deal that if you're blocking a business, blah blah blah. Personally, I think Domino's ought to take a table out to the street and sell $1 million worth of pizza. But
Who
you know,
said, well, I'm just kind of curious who said that because we have businesses all along Waldron and we had the parade down at the other end too.
yeah,
I'm not sure I understand that.
I don't know. Let me check on that tomorrow, and I'll shoot you an email or call you. Okay. But yes, the intent is to safely do it where we've got all of Waldron from Glen Oak down to Hustling Hornet closed off.
So what does our permit say?
I don't know what it says, honestly.
What does I think Ms. Sneed's here. What does our permit say?
Kim will tell us.
Yeah, so Mr. Kelly, I'm just going to give a kind of a brief overview of what happened, what I found out today.
Okay.
CCPD has been trying to be real lenient and get us some help without having to go out to a barricade company and a traffic control plan. There have been changes with how a traffic control plan is done. The city no longer does them anymore. The barricade company, hopefully if they have an engineer on staff, will do it. I did talk to a barricade company, the one we used last year. They've gone back and talked to the city, and so they're still working things out to try and help basically CCPD provide all the support instead of a barricade company because Laguna Shores is closed. And so that also adds an additional element because of road closures and things like that. When we do the parade, normally from Compton all the way down, most of the businesses have an outlet if they're not in business or they're not in business hours at that time.
Okay.
But Domino's, we never go this far. We always stop it.
So who do we, I mean, I guess I'm confused a little bit about it.
The northbound Waldron would be shut down the entire duration.
So we're going to have
that, and that is from Glen Oak to Hustle and Hornet. If you're coming from Yorktown, like heading towards SPID. The issue is the southbound lane, which of course we always have to have an emergency lane. And then, but the goal is to have CCPD help mitigate as much traffic as possible, only allow if they absolutely, they're a Domino's worker or they're going to the business, as a consumer.
Okay, so where will the kids be standing?
They will be standing here all up in front of here, from the high school. All in front on our property, not on the street.
Okay, but there will still be traffic going by? Is that what you're telling me?
Not on the northbound, which is our side of the street.
But there'll still be traffic on Waldron.
Once the parade starts, they would stop all traffic, both directions, while the kids start off the parade, which is NJROTC and band. The plan is, but then they're supposed to tuck back into the parking lot. And so then that would open up the southbound lane.
Okay, and so we have a permit that says that?
No, the permit is a parade permit.
So we can, and we have the permit for that's the only permit we need is the parade permit?
Correct. What the road is the traffic control plan.
Okay, and we're sure that that's just an absolute, we can't do that?
We're still working on that. There's more going on with, like I said, that's what the barricade company told me when I talked to them this afternoon. There's more issues going on with
because Laguna Shores is closed. They've got that redirecting. And so they're working with CCPD to help them, that they could provide more support than what they're already providing.
Okay.
They already said they're going to do about 6 officers up and down the street, in addition to our security, plus asking the Nueces County constables.
That's what I was going to say, because they will do it and it's not a cost to us.
Correct.
At all.
CCPD is, but not the constable.
Okay. Because I can maybe make a couple phone calls to help this situation.
I'll
be
should
happy
hear
to.
more in the morning and have some firmer details.
Okay.
So families, friends, high school students are all going to drive through.
They are actually going to.
Down Walden and see all of our clubs and teams and all that. Here's my only concern. Is think about what it's like out here in the morning with parents dropping off kids. And now you're going to have all of them plus high school kids. What's the traffic situation there?
So it's going to be kind of like a, lack of a better word, funeral procession where they're one behind another.
Where's the traffic line going to start? Are you going to back them up all the way down?
Jim,
So,
can you speak?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get Jim to speak into the microphone a little bit more.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I was asking about the traffic situation. When you think about what the traffic looks like around here at the beginning and end of school, with so many cars, where are they going to come from and where are they going to be staged at? I'm just seeing this huge traffic jam.
No,
That's all. I apologize for not being on the mic.
Well, no, Alex put up a map just a minute ago. They're going to start lining cars up pretty early. And like I say, you're going to have 2 or 3 columns of cars. They've even figured out how many cars that they can handle. There you go. So they'll come into the street between the high school and Central Kitchen, circle around, start staging back here in that area. Then they'll peel out and take a right and go down Waldron. Here's the backdrop on all this. We want to have a celebration that the kids enjoy, but trying to keep this whole thing as safe as possible. The last thing we need is coverage that Flower Bluff staged a super spreader event. So anyway.
And I also feel that way about the traffic. That's why I think that we need to figure out a way to close Waldron completely. It can't take that long, and there are other ways to get around Waldron. I know that Domino's might have an issue with it, but if that's our only concern, certainly we could work on that so that we don't have, that issue.
CCPD does have a phone call into Domino's.
So let's let Kim follow up in the morning, and let me get Crenshaw back involved. I'm not sure he's tuned in tonight, but we will get some answers on all this. It's not the best, but it is, and just so everybody knows, we will get back to the traditional parade. I don't know when that is, but it's not.
I'm grateful we're doing it, but it's like I told you before, when we drop traditions, each time one drops off, and even it worries me that we may not do it again.
No.
And because I never want that to happen. And this is something that I know that the entire community looks forward to every year.
If it wasn't for COVID, we'd be out there doing the parade as we always have. When COVID is not the risk that it is now, the parade will go on just as it was, because it is a great community event. And the challenge I put to Mr. Crenshaw was trying to do it later in the day than what they were originally talking about, and do it with as much community involvement as possible. And I think they've come up with a good plan. There's things still to work out. Yes, I don't think James is sleeping much right now because putting Kim's called into CCPD and that, what have you, him trying to figure out how to keep this whole thing rolling. It's on his mind. But we're going to pull it off. So we will get some more information to you.
I think Mr. Hooper's right. Buying a few pizzas might solve the problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're in business for, right? So
That's right.
okay.
That's right.
Can I roll on to the other?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank
okay.
you.
We have an election coming up, and we'll have to canvass the votes. I know that there's only one place that is being challenged, but at the December 3rd meeting, everybody will have to be sworn back in, and we will take care of that during that meeting. And the last thing I have is the commissioner extended board requirements on training and professional development for board members. Okay. He extended that until January 2021. We had a bit of a fright for a second before we realized that we have to post. There's a new law that we have to post how many hours you folks have completed. Okay. And we thought that we might have gotten in a jam, but Monica very quickly pulled up the letter from the commissioner. He extended it originally till about September, I think. August 10th, excuse me. He comes back and extends it to the end of January 2021. So Monica is going to pull up all the courses that she has record that y'all have done and email it to you. And what you'll need to do if you've taken an online course or what have you that she's unaware of, we'll need to add that in there. Okay, so be looking for that from Monica.
Yeah, because I think we all did a lot of I think I got all of mine. Did all of you? I think we got them all. We just did it. Yeah, it was all online virtually, and everybody got their hours, I thought. Joe.
Perfect. Well, that's typically the case for us in all the years I've been associated with Flower Bluff. So good. So that's all I had. Again, I want to remind you about the hurricane yard cleaning party that I'm having tomorrow afternoon. It was so much fun. It was so much fun that first time. I'm doing it again tomorrow. So anyway, that's it. That's all I've got.
Okay. Board comments. I'm going to start with Mr. Morgan, wherever he is.
There he is.
Hey, thank y'all for letting me social distance this meeting. I really want to be there, but I am a new grandfather for the first time. And yeah, my son and his beautiful wife asked that me and my wife social distance for 10 days and take a COVID test. So that's why I'm not with you tonight. Thank you for your understanding. I look forward to us being together soon. Joe, I can't thank you enough for leading this district right now. With the loss of David and then COVID and everything else that we've had to go through, you are a godsend. Oh. And I'll let you know that you'll be in my prayers this Saturday on Halloween when I think LSU is playing Auburn, and I'll be thinking of you.
Let me ask you this, little boy or little girl?
Little boy. His name is Paxton Joseph Morgan.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, if it was a little girl, she would have already have you completely wrapped around her finger, okay? Anyway,
well,
thank
hopefully
you
in the future. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Peters.
Well, Mr. Morgan, congratulations. That's awesome. And thank you so much, Mr. Kelly, for all your help and your leadership and everything that's been going on. I think that I have to say, I think that even though people are super stressed out and maybe feel like nothing's working, it seems like it's working. I get good feelings from our principals and our teachers. So thank you, everybody, and administration.
Mr. Hooper.
Well, first of all, Joe, I'm glad you made it through another hurricane, and I'm hoping it's the end of the season for you, because they keep coming. But I think you kind of reached the end of them based on what I'm seeing. But we'll see. And congratulations, Mike. That's great, to have a grandkid. I know Jim's talked about that a lot, and so has Shirley.
Oh, it's the best thing in the world. So much better.
Thank you, Jerry.
But more importantly than any of those things, thank you to the entire district and everything you guys do. It is a challenging time for everybody, no matter what business you're in or where you're at. We all are dealing with issues in our lives. and it is stressful. So we need to be very, very cognizant of the fact that everybody has stress and they're dealing with it very differently than they used to. And the social aspect has been a big impact, where people are responding differently to the stresses than they historically have. So mentioning that is important, Nicole, because they don't know how to handle it when they don't have the social interaction. So we need to be thinking about those folks. Other than that, I'm glad we're who we are, and we've got to get us a superintendent, and we've got to move to the next level.
Yeah, Jerry, I was watching the weather, and the guy said, and don't forget, hurricane season doesn't close for another month. I was like,
You're correct.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Mrs. Welp.
All right. Well, everyone, you know that I am a very proud graduate of Flower Bluff, and it has been such an honor to serve here and be with you all. I can't think of anything better that I've done in the last decades to give back to my community that has meant so much to me as this right here. And that's all I'm going to say, because I'll see y'all again. And thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. And Dr. Needham.
I already voted for you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
But your point is well made. It's already been said. I am so appreciative of the people who we have in our faculty and our staff and everybody just going that extra mile to make things work and being really creative, and like James and the parade solutions and stuff, and the the insurance situation, always trying to find solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be very easy, especially in this climate, to come in and complain and to make excuses and say this just isn't going to work. And I've yet to hear that, and it's just speaks to the caliber of people who we have in this district. So I'm proud to be associated with it. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr.
And thank you, Mr. Kelly. I hope you don't get any more storms anytime soon.
Well, you're over there surfing the good waves. I'm cleaning up all the debris.
Throw them a message in a bottle.
I might do it.
Well, and I'll finish up. I'll just piggyback on what you said. The Hornet Spirit says when there's a problem, the response is always, well, let me see how I can figure that out. And that's what I need to do. And Joe, you've led the way on that. And it's rare when you have somebody who gives you a lot of excuses as to why they can't do something. It's always, I think we can do this. And we're the I think I can group. And that is why we are who we are and where we are and why we're successful and why I'm so proud, Jennifer, also to be part of this. I have spent all but 11 years of my life involved in this school in some way. And it means a big deal to me. And I'm going to say this, and this is just a complete different aside. I'm going to express this to all of you because I'm in the middle of I'm going to call it a tiny war. There is a movement by the city right now, and I'm just letting all of you know, to bring what is called a low barrier shelter, homeless shelter into the city. A low barrier homeless shelter is a shelter that has no rules, basically. It is something like Seattle experienced in the beginning. And I'm going to encourage all of you to think about it, pray about it, contact your council members. I have a group of people who are working hard on this particular topic. I know the Business Association, Mr. Morgan is also going to put it on his agenda. And it's something that for Flower Bluff, it is important that we be aware of it through the entire process. I have been promised by the city that it will not go in Flower Bluff, though it was suggested early on. And we have some issues there that need to be taken care of. It directly affects our school and whether or not people want to move into this community. And so we have to be vigilant. When I speak, I will be speaking for the Citizens Council, but I would like to also express how this, and you can just let me know privately if you'd like me to extend that as part of the school board, if that's our pleasure as well. But it is something that we have a lot
of people working hard to just try to take care of some things that have been in the way, some roadblocks that have created some social problems within the district, and we want to fix those. So I wanted all of you to know that. But on that, I didn't want to end on the bad note, so I'm going to end on a good note. And the good note is I love being here. I love being a Hornet. I love serving with all of you. And I am ready to see everybody in December. We're ready to go. Joe?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll rake a little in my yard tomorrow, just, for you.
Think about you.
I'll do a little raking.
Well,
All right.
I know y'all are all there for moral support, and I appreciate it. So
That's right. That's right. I'll rev up a chainsaw or something. Okay. Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Hooper. And a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mrs. Welp. And the time is officially 8:16 p.m. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, it's okay.
thanks.
Good night.
everybody.
Good night.